What's going on, everybody? Well, Season 7 of The Walking Dead just wrapped last night, and we're here to talk about it. It's going to be a full spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the season yet, or if you're just really, really sensitive to spoilers, go ahead and click off, watch the rest of the season, and then come back and watch this. But if you've already seen the season, or if you don't care about spoilers, feel free to check this out. So, The Walking Dead Season 7, after the horrible cliffhanger last season, basically is the introduction of Negan, the introduction of all the different communities. You got the Saviors, you've got Alexandria, you've got the Hilltop, you've got the Kingdom, you've got the Oceanside, swamp people, women colony. And despite the season premiere, which a lot of people actually didn't even like, being one of my favorite episodes of The Walking Dead ever and really got me excited to watch this show again, you can go and watch my review. I mean, I was ecstatic about it. This is probably the worst season of Walking Dead yet.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... This show is seriously pressing its luck with its viewers. It stretches things out to a painful length. You have episodes after episodes of just filler where absolutely nothing happens.
Nothing at all.
You go off and you focus on one character for an entire episode that nobody gives a shit about. Like the episode focusing on the Oceanside, and I think Tara is her name. I don't even remember her name completely.
Yeah, Tara.
One of the worst episodes of the show ever.
We both fell asleep.
Yeah.
And I don't even really think we went back to watch it.
There was 3 episodes this season that I fell asleep and had to go back and rewatch it. But yeah, that was probably one of the worst seasons of the entire series of the show. And the numbers are out now, and the season finale this year is the lowest ratings that they've seen in over 5 years. That's since season 2. And the reason for that is because they're stretching things out. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the finale really quick, and then we'll get into our overall thoughts of the season. So the finale comes, and the whole season, just like last year, the whole season is basically just build up to something. Last season, they screwed everybody with a cliffhanger. This season, they just didn't give you anything.
Yeah.
You get to this finale, and it's basically you're waiting for this war to break out between Alexandria and the Kingdom and Hilltop and Negan and the Saviors. And you have this whole bait and switch thing going on with Sasha. Mm-hmm. They tell you basically at the beginning of the episode that she kills herself.
Yeah.
They don't hide it at all. If they meant to hide it, they fucked it up and failed badly. Because as soon as they did that scene, I remember I looked at you, I was like, oh, she killed herself.
Yeah, well, it was a very weird scene, too. We weren't quite sure what was going on.
Yeah, that was a weird scene, yeah, because she's just like...
yeah, she's like sweaty with nice music on, and it's like, what are you doing, girl?
That 70s funk music Shaft. So, I mean, it was weird for one, but two, they threw all their cards on the table in the first opening, the opening of the show. So
we already knew what was going on.
Yeah, and they meant that as a surprise later on, because, for those that don't read the comics, there is a part in the comics where Negan releases somebody back into Alexandria, and they take the cloth off her head, and she's a zombie, and she attacks Denise, the girl who got the arrow through the eye. That's how she died in the comics. Is that they were, it was like a bait and switch. They switched that around, and now it's a bait and switch for Negan. But there were so many things in this finale that made no sense whatsoever. First of all, how Sasha, I mean, you could pick it apart, how Sasha realized that she was going to turn into a zombie that quick. And that she was automatically going to go...
did tell her it was going to be like a 30 minutes tops maybe, and then she was in the coffin for hours before she got in, because she said, how long is this going to take? And they said a couple of hours, and she was like, okay, well, just give me some water.
Well, still, they haven't really nailed down in the show how long it takes. We've seen people change like that, like Shane, and we've seen people that lay dead for hours, and then they change. So she was pressing her luck with that weird little plan. Well, I'll kill myself and, cross fingers that something actually happens. And that just seemed like a weird plan anyway. And then, the war breaks out. And then you have everybody shooting at everybody. And I don't know about you, I couldn't tell who the fuck was who.
No, and that is something else. Like, even with the Army has a certain uniform, and other people wear different things. Otherwise, you're going to end up shooting somebody that's on your side.
The people who are in the Kingdom look like the people on the Hilltop, who look like Alexandria, who look like the Garbage Pail Children, who look like... they all look the same. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, it calls into question how everybody knows who to shoot. And second of all, you as a viewer, you're like, I just see gunfire. I don't know what's going on. And then, you have this whole scene built up where Negan's going to kill Carl. And we all know he's not going to kill Carl.
No.
He
likes him too much.
Yeah, they pretty much blew their wad on that in this premiere. They're not going to let Negan kill somebody else in this season. So, he's got his bat, and he's swinging up. He's like, all right, I'm going to kill Carl. And then Shiva comes out of nowhere.
Yes, I loved that part. Oh my god, I'm a tiger fucking fanatic.
Yeah, it was cool to see the tiger come in, and you were like, yes! But here's the thing. First of all, I mean, when you have a show with a fucking pet tiger, I guess you're stretching reality as it is, but how do you have a tiger that's trained to kill that person when they all look the same?
Yeah.
And aside from that, if you have a tiger that's trained to kill somebody, why did he jump past Negan to kill Joe Schmo?
Yeah.
That just, it made no sense. From that point on, it was just like, okay. But just nothing happened in this finale. Nothing happened. There was no resolution. There was no big war. Basically, it was a season-long, 16-episode setup for next year.
Yeah. What's
going to come next year? The war is next year.
So this whole season, even last year when it started up in October, because that's when the season premieres, it was boring.
Yeah, the season premiere came, so we'll talk about the overall season now. The season premiere came, and I was already pissed off because, I mean, you can attest to this. When that season 6 finale came, I was fucking livid.
Yeah.
This is the only show that has ever done that to me. I literally screamed, cussed, and walked around my living room like fuming, like, I fucking knew they were going to do that.
And then you always say, I'm never watching this show again. And then we watch it the next week.
Yeah, and that's the point with The Walking Dead, is this is the only show that I watch where I'm not going back for enjoyment. I'm not going back because I really like the show. I'm going back because I'm this far invested in it and I'm like blackmailed to come back. So the season opener comes and I thought it was a great episode. Very next episode, fell asleep. It's talking about Carol introducing the kingdom. And I know the whole idea of this season was they have to introduce this place. And they have to introduce this place.
It was way too much.
It was way too much. It was way too stretched out. And there's ways to do that without spending an entire episode on characters that you're not even really doing anything interesting with.
Yeah, because Carol's not doing shit
Carol didn't do anything.
Michonne's not doing much.
Yeah, she's just loving Rick.
Yeah, Carl's not doing much.
He had the one episode with Negan, which went nowhere.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, again, they have like this really strange relationship where Negan almost looks up to Carl, and Carl has like this weird thing where like, I know I should hate you because my father hates you, but you kind of have this badassness about you. Yeah. They had a little bit of that in that one episode, and then it goes nowhere. And then you never hear about it again until the rest of the season.
Shit, even Daryl's not doing anything, so it's like...
Yeah, he had one episode where he was imprisoned, which was a good episode, and then that was it. Then he's basically just hiding out.
Yeah, pretty much it's basically Negan's walking around and everybody's his bitch.
Yeah, and then not only that, if you're going to do a season like that, like with the season premiere, the biggest thing that they had with the season premiere, aside from answering the question that you made us wait 4 or 5 months for, is that you just introduced one of the coolest villains ever, with one of the best actors ever, and you barely use him this season.
Yeah.
He was in the premiere, he's in the episode.
Little bits of episodes, but
just
only for a small amount of time. He's there for a small window.
He's more, his presence is more there.
And
he shows up.
Working for me.
He shows up. He says a few little lines, a little few things like, "Hey man," he fucks with somebody mentally. He'll kill somebody once every mid-season, and then that's it.
You see the weird guy with the little porn stash more than you see Negan.
Yeah, and it's just, what frustrates me about this show, and I did a video months ago, 5 ways to fix The Walking Dead, and all those 5 ways, they have not done it, but they still apply. If you're going to focus on so many different people, make it more interesting.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to focus, which is what they should do, they need to focus on the people who are actually worth focusing on right now.
Yeah.
Like
the people that have been there from the very beginning. Like they need to do something better with Maggie's character. She's been fucking pregnant for like a season, almost 2 seasons, and she's not showing.
And even her,
there's no fucking baby coming.
Yeah, her entire growth this season was supposed to be coming back from seeing her husband's brains bashed in, and becoming this leader and this prominent figure. And I don't know about you, but the only thing that I got out of that entire storyline with the Hilltop was that she got placed in charge because Gregory's a douchebag.
Yep.
Not because she's this huge, powerful figure.
No, not at all.
And it didn't really, there was no growth with her. Mm-mm. There was not really any growth with, you have Sasha and Rosita who are basically at eds with each other because they both loved Abraham, he died, and now you have one who... He broke up with her to date her, so now she still loves him, but she feels conflicted. And then you have her when they were a couple for 5 minutes before he got killed.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do anything with their characters, which
their characters had a lot this season. It was a lot of back and forth between them. And the thing about it is, I'm not invested in either one of them.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't give a shit that Sasha died. They need to hone in on what characters people actually give a shit about. Rick, Daryl, Carl, Negan, and until they started fucking her character up, Carol. That was really it.
Carol was badass.
Carol was badass until the end of last year, and they started making her have an attack of conscience, and now she's like Morgan 2.0. And Morgan, again, oh my god, what a frustrating motherfucker.
Yeah, he's in between. Like, I care about him sometimes, and then I don't. But Father Gabriel has started doing shit, picking up guns and shooting people, so that's kind of neat.
The issue is even whenever they had a small group of people, The Walking Dead has always struggled with developing all of them and giving them all interesting things to do. You always gravitate towards one or two of them, and the rest of them kind of float in the background. Now they're trying to stretch that even farther because they have 5 or 6 different communities with different. You got leaders. Ezekiel. Yeah. You've got Ezekiel's right-hand man. You've got Jesus. You've got Gregory. You've got the Dwight. You got all these new characters that you're bringing in, and they're trying to devote the same amount of screen time to all of them, which is barely any. And I haven't gotten attached to anybody new.
Nope.
Jesus was badass. The little bit we get to see him last season, this whole season, he did nothing.
I know.
He had the one episode where he tried to save Carl, and then he just kind of showed up and basically just patted Maggie on the back and said, "Yeah, we're behind Maggie," and that was all he did. It's just what's frustrating about this show is that it's a victim of its own success. Mm-hmm. It's the most successful show on TV. Even though they're at their worst ratings in 5 years, they're still kicking ass.
Well, because people have too much time invested in it already to just turn their back on it. Yeah,
and here's the thing, is that they're the victim of their own success, so they keep doing these 16-episode seasons when they have never had enough story to fill out 16 episodes, even on the 3rd season when they first started.
That's why it's all walking in the woods.
Well, yeah, it's just slowly dragging things out, and I understand that they don't want to rush to catch up with the comics, but Jesus Christ, it's one of those things, and the biggest argument I always hear people say is, well, it works much better if you binge it. Yeah, but if you're not writing a show that's going to be binged all at once, write it to be absorbed 1 episode per week.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing this story and I'm not going to get anything interesting for 4 more weeks, you're going to make me miserable while I'm watching it. And it's
it was
showing.
Good when I binged it, but now it's where you're waiting a week between fucking episodes, and now we're going months between episodes.
And it's getting it's getting to the point where it used to be like, okay, so if you had an 8-episode half season, about 4 to 5 episodes would be pretty good, if not really good, and you'd have 3 fillers with nothing going on. Now that seems like it's reversed. You have 2 or 3 really good episodes, and you have
say 2 or 3.
You have 5 or 6 of filler.
Yeah.
And I'm being nice by saying 2.
There's one episode that we normally care about, and it's not even the whole episode. We're talking maybe 30 minutes out of it. Come on.
Yeah, and
they do better than that.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't understand where the trouble runs into with writing this show, because there's other shows out there that have gigantic groups of people that were written just fine because they knew when to focus on certain things. If you're going to focus on Negan for an entire episode, but you want to show some of Rick, cut away to Rick for 5 minutes and then come back.
Yeah.
If you want to introduce, they should have told most of this season through Negan's eyes, I think. There should have been focused on Negan and the Saviors, maybe every other episode, kind of like they did with the Governor. You had an episode with the group, and then you had an episode with the Governor and Woodbury.
Yep.
Something like that. You have Negan and the Saviors, and then you show Rick and everybody else, and they could have kept it almost behind the scenes what Rick and everybody was planning. So Rick and all the people in Alexandria talking with the Kingdom, talking with the Hilltop and everything like that. Maybe show little hints of it, so when the last couple episodes come and we've been following Negan and the Saviors for the majority of this season,
yeah, we're kind of surprised by it.
Yeah, they look like they're badass. Nobody's going to mess with them. He's made Rick look like a little bitch every single time he goes over there. Nobody's got balls enough to mess with the Saviors or Negan, and there's all these things going on that we don't find out about until the finale or the last couple episodes, and all of a sudden it explodes, and it's like, oh my god, all this stuff was going on. I mean, I came up with that while the camera was running. I don't understand why it's so hard to write this series. And what it seems like to me is that this series is written just for the ratings.
Yeah.
It's not written to entertain. It's not written to deliver upon all the stuff that they built up to for 6 or 7 seasons. And like I said, this entire season was written and put out there just to set up everybody coming back next year to find out what's going to happen. From the beginning, you have Negan kill 2 people, and then it took 16 episodes to get everybody to say, yeah, we should probably take this guy down.
Yeah.
That was the entire development of this season. Why did it take... I understand taking it slow with Rick kind of getting his balls back, but they should have done it...
He still doesn't have him back.
Yeah, but he's still making the stupidest decisions. Like, okay, going back to the finale, why would you trust those garbage pail people in the first place?
Yeah, and you just met them.
Yeah, or the junkyard kids, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
You just met them. They're obviously strange.
Bowl cut woman.
Bowl cut woman, yeah.
Fucking haircut in history.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're the weirdest, most gigantic red herring in the world. You're looking at them and you're just, or red flag in the world. You're looking at them and you're like, Yeah, there's nothing about them I trust. And he gives them the entire cornerstone of his plan falls on them delivering. And surprise, surprise, they screw him over. And then all this stuff goes on, all the shooting is going. And did you not wonder why the hell she's still just holding the gun on Rick? There's like 300 bullets flying, people are freaking out, people are dying left and right, and Rick and her are just standing there. And I'm like, why wouldn't she just shoot him?
Oh, she does. She shoots him in his side.
I know, but it's just like, it's so nonsensical to the point where you can't just say, well, it's The Walking Dead, it's a TV show, you have to forgive certain things.
At that point, if bullets are already flying, you fucking shoot.
That's what I'm saying. Even if there was some kind of a deal, like, when shit goes down, make sure he stays alive. If everybody's dying and she's already showed that she betrays people, you have to suspend all your disbelief to go wrong with the story of this.
Not only that, but we've got problems also with, Shiva came in and tried to jump on Negan, but missed him and killed someone we don't even know. We don't even know who it is.
I don't even think it showed it trying. She just jumped on somebody.
But why wouldn't they have put it on someone else? Like one of his right-hand guys.
I don't know. That's the thing. And then, Dwight. So Dwight is kind of the biggest person in the Saviors group that they focused on besides Negan. And they have this big thing at the end of the penultimate episode and the beginning of the finale where he wants to change sides. He wants to help them take down Negan.
Yeah.
And it goes nowhere.
I don't have a good feeling about him.
It goes nowhere. I don't know. But it goes nowhere. They don't do anything with it. They spend the first 5-10 minutes of this episode trying to get you convinced and trying to get the group convinced that Dwight wants to help them, and then it goes nowhere. Shit hits the fan, he leaves a little chess piece that says didn't know, and that's all of it. And it's just like, I don't get their objective here. They've been leading up to this almost every single week in social media talking about, don't worry guys, we're not going to leave you with a cliffhanger. We've learned our lesson. Don't worry guys. And they always put things out there like, oh, Andrew Lincoln couldn't sleep for 3 days after he read the script for the finale, or the finale is just going to be balls to the wall, and you're going to be panting in your living room, and it's just like, you're fucking retarded. Yep. Nobody is panting at this. They're panting because they're tired of your bullshit.
When's this going to be over?
Yeah. When's this going to be over? I got stuff to do. Yep. That's basically how you feel when you're watching the finale, and it's just
it got so bad that we didn't even watch the past 2 episodes before the finale, and then...
Yeah, I forgot the show existed.
Yeah, I know. And then Sunday came around, I was like, oh, God.
I said, we only got 1 to catch up on. I said, God damn, we got 2 to catch up on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's...
I didn't give a shit this season. I'm sorry, but I didn't, and they need to fix it.
They're probably not going to, unless this ratings thing scares them or scares the network into doing something. Because this is a show that they're going to stretch as long as they can.
They know people are going to come back regardless, whether you
they always
love the show or whether you hate it. They know we're coming back.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a trend with most TV shows, but especially The Walking Dead. If you look at the numbers, the ratings will always spike in a premiere, and then they plummet until a mid-season finale, and then it'll go up a little bit. In a mid-season premiere, go down a little bit, and then the finale might go up a little bit. But the premiere is always kind of the thing there, because there's like this inside joke with Walking Dead. If you want the most entertaining episodes of the season, watch the premiere, the mid-season finale, the mid-season premiere, and the finale, and you probably won't even miss anything.
No, you don't. Not much, at least.
Yeah, and it's just... I wish they would utilize what they have, because they have Negan. They have one of the coolest villains. They have one of the best actors playing Negan, and Negan is going to be around for a while.
Yep.
And something that they're really screwing people over with too, which is pissing people off, is that if you don't read the comics, you don't realize that he's in this for the long run. He's going to be here for seasons, unless they seriously divert from the comics, which they don't tend to do. He's going to be here for the next 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Yep.
Especially the way that they stretch things out, maybe even 7 or 8. People are looking at this after you kill Glenn, saying he better fucking die this year. And he's not. And then next year they're going to say the same thing, just like with the governor. He better fucking die this year. And he's not. And it's going to make people mad. And they're not doing a good enough job of making a lot of people not necessarily come around to Negan, but welcome him as a part of the show permanently.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You know what I mean? He's just kind of there.
Because everybody hates him. Everybody thinks he's a scumbag type of guy. And they need to do something better with him, like how you said, focus some episodes on his insight and let us grow to love him.
Yeah, I mean, I love him because he's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah.
But I mean, they need to, they need to devote more time to him other than have him come up, be a dick for a few minutes, maybe kill somebody, and then leave.
Well, and here's my prediction. Next season, remember how we learned a little bit about the governor and everything before they killed him? Next season, we're going to learn a little bit about Negan. It might not be next season or maybe the season after, but Mm-hmm. We're going to learn a lot about him, and I feel like that's when people are going to be like, oh, I like him.
Maybe. It might be too little too late the way that they're doing it. They need to do something. They have some really, either some showrunners or some writers on this show that need to go. They need to get somebody new in there. They need to get some fresh ideas. And it's hard to say who's breathing down whose neck. Is it the showrunner who's saying stretch this out for 8 episodes even though it's only 2 episodes worth of story? Or if it's the network saying, hey, make sure that this Negan all-out war storyline carries through to season 9. I don't know who the problem is, but there is a problem. There is smoke, there is fire. Your ratings are showing it. Your reviews are showing it. And not only that, the biggest thing, and then we'll wrap up, the biggest thing that tells me that people no longer give a shit about this show is the social media presence. Because this show used to be everywhere. Yep. On Facebook, Twitter, freaking everywhere.
Oh God, if you were late 5 minutes to watching the show, the ending was ruined. And I haven't seen anything, maybe one person hashtagged TWD, and that was it. Yeah, like this was last year. We pretty much came to the agreement we used to watch The Walking Dead on Mondays because we wouldn't want to stay up late on Sundays. We'd watch it Mondays, and probably 8 out of 10 times we would find out what happened before we got there on Monday, inevitably, because every other post on Facebook was, OMG, so-and-so died, or OMG, I can't believe this, or even if no, Glenn's not really dead. They would have like a meme that would drag you in, and then out at the bottom it'd be like, something. Glenn died. Something. What the fuck? It was all over the place. So we actually had an agreement where we have to watch this on Sundays from now on, otherwise we just need to stop watching the show. This year, nothing. The premiere, you had a few people tweet out or put on Facebook, mostly angry people, Glenn's dead, I'm no longer watching the show, or LOL, I knew it, or something like that. The premiere got a little bit. Since the premiere, I have not seen a single Walking Dead post, including the finale. In fact, I even put on Facebook, you can tell how low this show is sunk by the fact that nobody's talking about the finale, and it was like 4 hours after it aired. Yeah. So, I mean, this show, not seeing it anywhere. The rating and the reception is taking a gigantic nosedive, and there's a reason why they need to fix it. So, I guess we'll end on one thing, the main thing that they need to fix for next year. Besides the 5 things that I already have out of my video that you should check out. Yeah, they definitely need to do something, not so much filler. So give us some interesting stuff. Don't focus on one character at once. And to that point, and this is kind of one of my points, but it's the most thing that they need to do because they fucked it up the most this season after I made that video and crossed my fingers they weren't going to do it. They need to focus on 3 or 4 characters predominantly throughout the season. And if you want to go off and show what Ezekiel's doing, or show what Eugene's doing, or show what Carol's doing, nothing, go for a few minutes and then come back to the main story. But make it relevant. Yes. Don't make it to where you're like, why? What's going on here? Yeah. Or if you're not going to make it relevant, like I said, make it where it's not painful. It's just a few minutes. Do it like Game of Thrones does it, which I know you don't watch Game of Thrones, but there's a ton of communities. They'll focus on the main story. They may go off for a minute just to show, meanwhile, this person's doing this, and then they cut back. They need to do more of that instead of spreading out the season saying, okay, Tara gets an episode, like Oprah, you get an episode, you get an episode, you get an episode. You get an episode and you don't get to do shit. Yeah, exactly. So that's the biggest thing. Worst season so far, guys. Yeah. It's to the point where I'm literally emotionless about this show. I don't feel anything for any of the characters. I still love Daryl, but he's not doing shit. I'm sorry, Daryl. Get your shit together. Yeah. Even if, and I'm being dead honest, even if the premiere of season 8, Negan comes up and bashes Rick, bashes Daryl, bashes Carl, bashes Michonne, everybody dies except for Negan and maybe a few of our newer characters, I wouldn't feel a thing. I mean, I'm flatlined on this show right now, so I have no excitement. I have no thoughts about what they can do, like story-wise. Just make it better. So, what do you guys think of the season 7 finale and the overall season? I know this pretty much turned into a full-on rant, but what else can you say? There wasn't really anything else to discuss. Nothing happened. So, hashtag bitch fest. Oh God. So go ahead and put your guys' thoughts on the season 7 of Walking Dead, the entire show, your favorite character, least favorite character, and whatever you want to talk about with The Walking Dead, down in the comment section below, and we'll talk about it. Please like and share this video, and hit that subscribe button. That way you get to come back and see us next time. But if that's not soon enough to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.